So it occurs to me that I've referenced my lore and I've created kind of a lore doc, but nobody read the lore document, and I've never really officially addressed my lore in any official capacity. So a lot of people don't know what it is, and they assume that since I call myself Beelzebub, I am associated with the archdemon of gluttony, which, believe it or not, is not my lore. Not because that's not what Beelzebub is, but because I didn't read that far down the Wikipedia article, and I kind of came up with my own thing along the way. So let's actually start with the Beelzebub lore at the beginning. So both historically and lore-wise, before there was Beelzebub, there was Beelzebub, also translated as Beelzebul. This form is not a demon. This is a deity. This is the Philistine god of Ekron. And I originally created this model because I was going to do this giant movie where there were going to be like fight scenes and voice acting and yada yada, but it ended up taking way too much time and being way too complicated for what I could realistically do on my own. This is my god form. This is my original form in my lore. I am Beelzebub, and you can see that these are not wings. These are not wings. They are just really cool, decorative, cape-like structures to look semi-angelic without actually being wings. You can see there's no actual part. They don't flap. And as you can see, the Philistine god of Beelzebub, or Baal for short, is associated with the bull. So rather than give myself a bull head, I just made a little bull wiggly thing, like a little rubber bull mask. It was originally intended to look like it was made out of solid gold and to be solidly affixed to my head, but the coloring came off as dirty brown and it looked kind of rubbery, so I attached it to my hair, and now it wiggles. This is not intentional. This is supposed to be solid gold, but it came out looking weird and I decided to keep it. This is a total accident. Basically, in my lore, I was, zooming around as a deity. I was zipping, zooming, flying around as the god of Ekron. Now, as the god of Ekron, Beelzebub, I had to fight the Israelites. Yes, that's correct. I was the enemy of the Israelites. I was fighting on behalf of the Philistines. It was our armies against their armies. And as a deity, I had to fight archangels on a regular basis because they would use their magic to influence the battle and I would use my magic to influence the battle. Oh, never directly getting into an actual fight, because if we fought full power, we would destroy the entire landmass. So we were doing proxy wars through the humans, combating to see who could best who. And unfortunately, during the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Ekron actually fell. I lost my proxy war. And since Ekron got absorbed into the greater kingdom and no longer existed, I, as the god of Ekron, completely lost my god status. So I was immediately depowered. I had none of my godly powers whatsoever. I'm still a celestial being, I just can't really do anything about it. So I am desperate at this point, so I have to do something radical, and I do. I decide to make a pact with Lucifer and become a demon, an archdemon specifically. Now, as you can see in this form, I have goat's hooves, inspired by Lucifer himself. The devil is often portrayed as having goat's hooves, so that's what I gave myself. As a member of Lucifer's army, I fought in his name and did numerous atrocities against my old enemies. While I was in hell, I actually made friends with another demon, and that demon's name was Mephisto. So while I was out and about committing war crimes, acting as a demon on behalf of Lucifer, I met Mephisto. And this is Mephisto. I gave him a cool little pole arm of some variety because I thought it looked neat. And I gave him these big floofy clothes, and I made him like a little brother type of character. Even though we're not blood related, we're both demons, and we became fast friends, and he kind of became my adoptive brother. While we were out and about committing horrible atrocities, we gathered some attention, some unwanted attention. The attention of an archangel. And this is Michael, also known as the Archangel Michael. And as you can see, there is a distinct split in the threads here, so these are intended to look like wings. Michael found out about myself and Mephisto running around and causing problems, and he was sent to destroy us. And it is at this moment that we have an epic fight. I tell Mephisto to run because he is substantially weaker than me, whereas I stay behind and fight to give him time to escape. Now, it is here where I am fighting to save my adopted younger brother from the Archangel Michael. And you can see that I am challenging him. At this point, I don't actually have a sword. I have a pitchfork, a demonic pitchfork, and it is in fact the angel that has this great sword. So I prepare to fight him, and I'm like, come on, I want you to try and hit me, I want you to try and hit me. And he does. He comes screaming through across the landscape, leaving light and energy in his wake. I ready up my pitchfork and I thrust it at him, and he goes in for the stab. We clash, and I knock his sword aside. We immediately recover and clash again. We swing at each other again. He cuts my face. I pierce his arm. He cuts my face again. We're both going in again, clash. And then I catch him in the chest with the palm strike. And I shove him aside. I shove him backwards with the palm strike. And now we've got some great distance apart. We ready up. We charge after each other. Shoom. Weapons clash. I get cut. Michael seems fine. We point our weapons at each other. His sword is bloodied, mine is not. Michael stares me down, and I tell him that'll be the last drop of blood you get from me, Michael. I reach for the sword that is still in his hand, and I grab it and yank it out of his hand. Now I have both weapons. And then I run him through with the pitchfork, but he stops it with his hands. He reaches out to grab me. So what do? When he's got the pitchfork and he's reaching to grab my other hand, I let go of the pitchfork. I abandon it completely. And now I've got his sword, he's got my pitchfork, and I'm like, you know what? This is more than enough time for Mephisto to have escaped. I'm going back to hell. So I open up a pentagram portal and I just dive in. And Michael, confused, befuddled, he's like, damn you, Beelzebub, I still have your pitchfork. Man, that is worthless compared to an Archangel sword. Keep it as a memory of your shameful defeat, because he couldn't kill us, and that's what he was sent to do. This isn't over, Beelzebub. I win, Michael, I win. So that's actually why I have this sword. It's not actually my sword, it is the Archangel Michael's sword. He still has my pitchfork, I have his sword, and we are probably gonna fight at some point. However, I didn't actually win this fight, mind you. All I did was fend him off long enough for Mephisto to escape, and then I fled, and I fled hard. So at this point I know that Michael is after me and not Mephisto, because I'm the one with Michael's sword. So long as I stay hidden, both myself and Mephisto will be okay. But I need a way to hide my power, because I was in that fight and I didn't win, and I know he was more than strong enough to kill me. So I decided to go into hiding. So in order to go into hiding, I needed to reincarnate. And to reincarnate, I needed a host. It's basically a demon possession, and that is where this guy comes in. This character right here, this is the actual person, my human vessel. This guy was homeless and miserable, and nothing was going his way. He was living in a cave, eating off scraps. All of his loved ones had abandoned him. His clothes were tattered, his face was cut, he was covered in bruises, he was at the end of his rope. So I find this guy right here, whose name is my real current identity, so I won't give it away. I find this person, they're at the end of their ropes, and I say, let me demon possess you, let me incarnate into your body willingly, and we will become one and the same, and I will get you out of this situation. I will give you demonic power that you have never seen, but I know in the back of my head, I'm not going to give him my full demonic power, because I need to hide, and it is within this human mortal vessel that doesn't exude a lot of power. So long as my spirit is within him, I won't be able to be tracked by the angel. So I need a hiding place, and he needs to not be homeless, so we make a deal. We make a devil's bargain, and he allows me to possess him, and I give him just a fraction, just a smidgen of my demonic power, which allows him to get back on his feet and get his life together. I give him the strength, the courage, and eons of wisdom that allow him to direct his life out of that pit, out of that hellhole, and get back on his feet. So, over many, many years, we've become one and the same person, and now I have the ability to release a small amount of my power and partially take over his body. And that is this form right here. This is the hybrid form. I've still got my crown, I've still got the sword, I've still got the Teflon and the tattoos, but you'll notice that I don't have goat's feet. I have normal human feet, and my face shape is different. And that's because this isn't me at full power. This isn't me at full demon power, let alone full god power. This is me just letting out a little bit, a smidgen of my power, just so I can give my host the talent and skills and survivability so that he can make it through tough times. I can give him superhuman strength, superhuman fighting reflexes. I can just disperse into a cloud of flies and escape dangerous situations. And I can command flies and fly-like insects to bend to my will in this form. When I am letting out like 1% of my demonic power, this is what I look like. And this is what I look like in most of my videos. This is my partially released demon form. I'm still letting off some demonic energy, putting myself at a little bit of risk of being discovered by Mikhail, but not nearly enough to send an absolute broadcast of my position in all directions like I would be at full power. And it is at this point, living in this hybrid form, that I sort of realize how garbage of a person I was, having literally sold my soul to the devil and doing these horrible, horrible things in the name of Lucifer. That I start to realize, wow, I have committed some horrible, horrible sins, and this is not in alignment with the godly person that I was. I used to be a god. I used to be a ruler of men, and I loved my people, and I cared about my people. I led with honor and respect, and I am now just descendant into this demon form just for a scrap of power, but at the end of the day, none of that power means anything when I'm making myself and the people around me miserable. I put my adopted brother in direct danger because we were out causing chaos and attracting the attention of angels. We've spent so long being demons. We've made so many enemies that it's put us in danger. We're bad people. And one of the things that I want to do is atone. I spent so long as a demon doing these horrible things that I need to atone. I need to improve myself. I need to better myself. So that's why I became a VTuber, because I have no power to affect drastic change in the world. I really don't. But what I can do is put myself on screen, show myself to the world, and attempt to spread a positive message. Every person I reach out to and communicate with and improve their day in the slightest way, every time I do something good or beneficial or improve the quality of life or just make them forget their problems for a minute, every single moment that I do that, every single good deed, there's a little bitty spark. There's a divine spark. And it's partly repairing the world that I destroyed. As an archdemon, I was directly responsible for many, many tragedies that I cannot undo. The consequences of my action live on to this day. And in this form, I don't have the power to fix what I've broken. If I released my full demonic potential, then I would be immediately discovered and hunted down by angels. So I'm stuck in this limited form, doing what little I can do to just try and make amends for the horrible, horrible things that I've done. And that is my only objective as a VTuber, is to just make people happy and spread positive vibes. So until the day Mikhail finds me and slays me down, I will work tirelessly to restore the cracks that I shattered into the world. Because I am so sorry for what I have done in the past. And I'm so sorry to the people that I have hurt. And I can't show my true face, because if people know who I really was and they could find me, they would hurt me. I have done so many horrible things to good people who didn't deserve it. And I feel so horrible. And now I just gotta wait and hiding, using a fraction of what I can actually do. Even though I have changed as a person, I know the people that I hurt could never forgive me. So this is all I have. This is my apology, is to just make a change for the better and be nice for a change. Because this isn't who I was meant to be. I wasn't meant to be a demon. I was meant to be a god. And that was taken from me. And my fall from grace was painful. But perhaps if I can reach out and touch enough people, and reach out and entertain enough people, spread a large enough message of positivity, maybe I won't be worshipped like a god like I used to be. Maybe I won't be popular and well-loved and get a bunch of free things and love and respect and gifts. I won't ever be at my peak like I used to be. But maybe I'll become large enough and do enough good to go back to my old form, my divine form, who I was born to be, who I was meant to be, a leader of people and a spreader of positivity and someone who cares about the people underneath them. Because I lost my way in a big way, but I'm trying to get just a sliver of that back.